rounding off, we have two more departments, I believe, this is streets and grounds, still in public services. Page 87. The biggest increase, of course, is we are doing some capital in here that's sorely needed. We need a new bucket truck because that thing is falling apart, and we also need a new lift as well to help out with some projects around town.
Like a scissor lift or?
We're doing a boom lift. We're doing a boom lift like the Lowell type situation, and then we're also doing a bucket truck to be able to get up into the trees better. The bucket truck is what we use for all the Christmas lights throughout the town. And we also help neighboring cities with it as well.
Are we putting the lights up or somebody else?
We still put up our decorations on our
We have our
poles.
own lights and then we contract out for other lights. Are those lights that are put up by contractors in this budget?
They are.
In this department?
No, not in this department. Right now, so far they've been hospitality and ARPA funded. But they wouldn't come out of this department. That's a 410. Any questions about streets and grounds?
Where do we compete with compensation in this department?
So this is the one, it does not have any CDL drivers, I don't believe. So this is your, the same level as our sanitation laborers. So this area, we give them, this is one of the ones that got impacted the most by the livable wage. You see that giant jump in increases, that was when we did the increase to livable wage.
Right.
So right now, I feel like we're very competitive. These are entry-level jobs. They don't require a degree or anything like that. So these gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen are, I think, get a fair living from doing what they're doing. So we're very happy with the pay we're giving them.
We
right now.
do spot increases though.
If we see, of course, if we see something, a staff, a department head lets us know that there's an increase, and that's across all departments.
Yep.
I think we do a fantastic job on streets and grounds too. And is Steve, right, is our arborist?
Stephen is our arborist underneath Matt Mills. Yeah.
He's in this.
This is his division. Yep.
Is he streets and grounds supervisor? Or
He's the manager.
manager, okay.
I got a question.
Sure.
It's not part of the budget meeting.
Okay, what you want to talk about, Pete?
Well, you know the roundabout?
I do know it. Yeah.
So the street grounds, I live from from Hartsville. Why are we maintaining it, not the state?
So we have, the state does what it can. We have always maintained it. We were always told that we could not put anything on it, so because of line of sight issues. But I've been around the state, I know you guys have seen roundabouts that have forests on them. Hilton Head, for instance. So we made a determination to do a upgrade to it. It actually, if you look at it overhead, once it's done, it actually looks like a Kalmia flower. So once it's finally done, we're going to unveil it and do a aerial shot of it. But Stephen designed it, and it is a Kalmia, and it's an homage to the Kalmia Gardens. So we are asking for forgiveness on this one from the state. They haven't called us, so thanks for bringing it up. But the roundabout is, we maintain that. And we have maintained it the entire time. We used a contractor to handle it, but now we're doing it in-house.
And that's reflected in here?
That's in this budget,
That
yeah.
work?
Mm-hmm.
So all the, they don't handle the parks, correct, Kendrick?
They handle the maintenance of the,
Not
grass,
Byerly, yeah.
and the trees and everything
Right.
like that, but we do the playgrounds.
That's right.
Dan,
Ma'am?
did we just hire a person for sanitation, drive the boom truck? Not boom truck, but plant truck.
I believe so, yeah. We've hired some new CDLs drivers recently, yes, ma'am.
So they have to have a CDL?
Yes, yeah. I think that just needs a Class B, not a Class A. The only things that require Class A, and this is the public services side, is the heavier equipment. So the knuckle boom, or not the tink claw, uses, only requires, I think it's not heavy enough for a Class A. But we do have CDL drivers and mostly in utilities.
Right, okay.
Heavy equipment operator is what we call them. That's one of the other ones that is hard to fill. Those are jobs that are, it's harder to fill.
I saw it on Indeed.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we just hired three new CDL drivers.
What's our plan for sidewalk repairs and maintenance? We have $17,000.
So we-
identified where we're going?
We keep that in the budget because we do have some sidewalks downtown specifically that we do maintain. And we will, if we notice something across the area that is immediate danger, we'll help SCDOT out and start and help grind that down. But we do not have any of the sidewalk maintenance through the entire city. We don't have a funding source for that. So this is just for spot repairs downtown and across the city if we see something that is necessary. But overall sidewalks are maintained by SCDOT throughout the city.
I do want to know,
Except for Howard Street. Howard Street is ours.
City now.
It is in the city, as we discovered, and thank you. It is. Well, I mean, we have taken over we have about 10 streets in the city. I wish we didn't, because we don't have monies to pay for all the streets.
Charles Stewart finally answered my
Yeah.
email after about 6 months.
To his credit, though, we always did own it, so it's not his fault. He did a good job. Maybe I should reply to it.
yeah, so, but I did want to point out before we go away from the roundabout, that was a cost savings when we brought that in-house. We didn't take on an additional staff. They just took that on their own, and it is an undertaking. So we had some upfront costs to get the landscaping in we wanted, but that was absolutely cost savings. So I appreciate them doing that for us, bringing that back in-house to have the cost savings.
I remember I was playing at Tony Sheba's campaign sign in the center of that thing years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it lasted about 24 hours. Somebody ripped it up.
Get it out.
You're
That's
welcome.
right. Can't be done.
I got it at the house if you need.
I can't. Bob, what else you got there? Who else?
Ma'am?
That's right.
Fourth Street to 14th Street for sidewalk.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so that project is underway.
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I'm asking about a particular spot.
Okay.
Where the dilapidated house is, it's in the 300 block.
On Washington?
Yes.
Are you talking about the house next to Davis Funeral Home?
Yeah.
So-
It's got a sidewalk about that.
So that sidewalk probably, when we do the new path, it's on the other side. So that sidewalk probably could be essentially abandoned because we will have another sidewalk on our side. That tree I have to look to see. I think it's a healthy tree, but I have to look and see. I know what you're talking about, but it is blocking the current sidewalk, but we will have a full sidewalk on the other side that's gonna go all the way down. But that's a DOT sidewalk that they'd have to, so I'll talk to them about that. See what the options are.
Cause, those two things, that, particular house.
Yes,
with
ma'am.
asbestos siding and that tree,
Understood.
well, tree and sidewalk.
That's gonna be that's a codes issue, and then we'll deal with the other side. In Streets and Grounds, I will say, I know Matt's not here, but they are really, I will say, they have stepped up, one of the departments that we have leaned on the most for all the decorations we have done. All the holiday stuff, they are those poor fellas. They have had to do a lot, and they do it with minor complaining, which is great, I appreciate it. But no, they are really, a shout out to them, they've done a great job. That pumpkin on top was a team effort across the board, but Streets and Grounds built that platform for it. They secured everything. They took care of it. Came in on the weekend and sewed new loops on it. So they did a good job. They do a good job.
Streets and grounds are great.
They don't. They're the face people see in the city.
And but they did request someone new this year for that because we were really taking on this decoration thing, which I love. But we couldn't afford it, so I'm gonna have our Neptune Island full-time staff step in and help during that time to help with decorations in off-season. They're busy with our projects, and that is, they work 90-hour weeks in the summer, but they are gonna have to help me for a week or two a year.
90 hours.
They do.
Absolutely.
They work every day
They
during the
work
summer.
every day.
And still,
12
when
hours
they
a
get
day.
off, see a door fly off a truck in the middle of the road, get out all 5 of them.
Oh, no. I was talking about Water Park has to work they
The
work
Streets
90
and Grounds
hours.
works quite a bit.
Oh, they absolutely work hard. So many staff do. But to have a cost savings there, we're gonna utilize them to help with decorations.
So while you and kudos talking about decorations, I wanted to thank
thank you for keeping us up on it, so we're
Yep.
doing it. But we were excited that they tied all those green bows after hours.
They did it.
We appreciate it. Okay, anything else in streets and grounds? Okay, last up for general fund is museum,
We already did airport.
page 92,
We
yeah.
got cemetery.
Is that, are we going to this?
They're all here.
Are they?
Stop jumping ahead.
Okay. Third to last for his museum.
There we go.
So we did have an increase here. We did add back in the assistant museum manager, which has been a long time coming. We had to make that cut when we had to do a mid-year adjustment to get increased police salaries and fire and also public services. But they were able to hire a young man who I think is doing a good job. So we're excited about the return of the museum manager, assistant museum manager, and any questions about museum?
What is our relationship with Hart House, Hart Cottage?
So that is another group that the Hartsville, I'm trying to remember exactly what their name is. But they have,
Hart Cottage Group.
that's right. So I mean, it's a separate entity. They are a group, a historical group in town that maintains that. They have approached the city in the past about partnering more. That is something we'd have to consider taking on as a cost if we were to do that. But no, we don't have a direct relationship with them other than normal. Same with like the Coker House over there on 4th Street, the museum, Cotton Museum there. That is a separate group. Any questions? All right. Next up is cemetery operations, and I wanted to highlight Miss Graham getting her rose garden. 96. 96. So we did put this out for bid on the South Carolina Business Opportunity site, which is where, if you know, if you're doing business with cities, that is the main source of where you find bids and requests for contracts. We received, yet again, one bid to do cemetery operations. So it's coming up. It's a small increase, small, $26,000 increase. And that's what we have.
What's the special projects and services?
That is extra burials, I believe, right?
It's down there on, it's on 97, it kind of explains what that one
Opening and
is.
closing cemetery, Green Lawn Cemetery,
That's when it gets to a certain amount.
after 100,
That's right, that's where we bill it to.
after 100.
Daniel, just out of curiosity, how close are we to capacity out there?
We have room, especially, as you guys know, we're talking about adding some more plots in the layer that we have, so. Brandon, do you have an idea of how much how much capacity we have? Are we at 60%, 70%?
Yeah, we're probably about 60% capacity of both cemeteries.
Mhm.
We're also probably looking at doing some resurveying for hopefully some empty plots and some more room for upgrades.
And once they're full, I would highly recommend we do not acquire another property to bury in.
And that's it.
Well, I would say we use the perpetual fund to maintain the current cemeteries we have. Okay, any questions? All right. Next up, we have airport. 98. What was that period? What was that giant grant? Is that the grant?
No, that's the big grant for the runway.
Ah, yep.
No, the term.
Terminal.
No, it's runway.
It was
It's
runway.
runway.
Yeah, the terminal was before that.
Mhm.
So we're maintaining the same contract as we have at the airport for operations out there.
Do we have any room for adding rental hangar space?
Yes, we do. We just have to build a, we'd have to build a,
We have a field we have.
we have room for it. I mean, if we wanted to build
We
more.
have room to add buildings, but are we at capacity on,
We're at capacity right now, yeah.
so we need to add something?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say we need to. I mean, it is a.
We don't make a,
We don't make, the airport is not exactly a,
it's not,
So it's not a moneymaker for us?
not really.
No.
Do rentals and stuff? Do we make any money out there?
Some. I think it's a,
Net, it's a plus to the city?
no. It's a net, it was a net loss.
Negative.
It's a net, yeah.
How much of negative are we talking about?
Let's see.
114, 116, 375, right?
Yeah, what's the,
I would say there's the economic benefit, right? Like,
There is benefit to it.
yes,
We're
there's
teasing.
absolutely benefit about it.
Yeah, I see the expense here, I was wondering what the revenues.
I'm looking to see, we
You
only,
know, the majority of the revenues are going to the contract service out there, right? They're the ones that provide, you know,
Obviously, they're
the
making a
structure.
profit, or they wouldn't be doing
Absolutely.
they are, and we've talked about restructuring that
Yep,
too
we've
as well.
talked about restructuring that. Brandon and I talked about that, restructuring that agreement so that maybe we don't have to pay as much to them because I know they're making money out there.
They do.
Say to get the Sunoco jet into Hartsville, away from Beltsville.
I mean, we had it at one point, so I mean, it's just the contract, negotiating a contract.
Is our runway long enough?
I believe so. Mhm. And we have a brand new runway out there and a brand new terminal building, so if there was a time to do it, it'd be now. I just don't know. I know Sunoco is not flying it as much lately. Any other questions? All right. And that is general fund. Look at that. All right. So next up is enterprise fund, and this is going to be on page 101. Let's start with the revenues. So this is the budget amount for the last few years. It has been a slight increase. We're now about 10,400,000 in revenues and projecting a 10,320,000 for expenditures. This does not have to be balanced as the general fund does. So we are seeing a slight increase. That is with the 9% in there. So if we don't have the 6% increase in addition to the 3, we will not be in this situation. Okay? So that is built in to get to where we're at.
How much of the hospitality money are we using to offset what we lose at the water park?
Well, we'll get into the water park if you want to talk about
Okay.
that, yeah.
Well, we probably didn't need,
Well,
We'll
let's
talk
talk
through
about
the revenues. Go
we're
ahead.
about to talk through the expenditures on it.
sure.
Okay, so this is the breakdown of those revenues. As you see, it's charges for water and sewer are the lines, or most of it, and then we have water park is also with its admissions and sales. Yep. So that's broken down. Expenditure-wise, this is now I'm going to focus only on water and sewer, and we separate out Neptune out, so you guys can have a better idea. So from water and sewer, majority of its operating expenses. We do have a transfer to the general fund to do what we talked about earlier, where we're paying ourselves back for service for,
Plus, we can go up to 6.5% on the franchise fee part of
Yep.
the revenues.
Right.
So it's a combination of the two.
yep, and some capital in there, salaries and benefits, but that's just how it's broken out. All right. So the water and sewer division, overall, it's
Page
this on page
105.
105. So a moderate increase to salaries and benefits and operating expenditures. Overall, it's a 2% because we are not doing as much capital this year. The big capital is in some lift station upgrades that we need to do, 190,000.
Where are our lift station upgrades? Where are we having to do that?
Just, let's see, the two ones, these would be two of the ones that we took out from Skip. So I believe Dogwood already had some improvements made to it. I have to go back and look. What did we cut from Skip? Do you remember which lift stations it was? Northrop King? Okay. It's two of our, I think we have about 12 lift stations in town, 11, 12, so it's two of those we're going to be making improvements to. And each lift station has 2 pumps and a diesel backup generator, a diesel backup pump, and a generator out there, so we have to maintain those going forward.
And we can get that from Matt.
Yeah.
We can get that answer.
So the good of the group and Skip is?
South Carolina Infrastructure Improvement Plan, that's the $10 million grant we got that we had to cut back services for. Thank you.
How much more water capacity or I guess sewer capacity do we get from that?
So right now, we are approaching this, if we don't do any improvements, we have 3 million of the 3.5 million obligated towards, but we're seeing about 3 million of it being used. If
3
we,
million
of the capacity, so with the improvements we're doing to the main,
Gallons per year?
gallons per day.
Gallons per day?
Yep. And so that's how much we're rated to treat is 3.5 million. We have one of the big projects we're doing that's $5.6 million or so is the relining of the main artery into the pipe, which should fix a lot of the issues. We believe we can probably trim off close to 1 million gallons almost of what, or no, give us back up to 1 million gallons, so we'd be up to 2.5. So about 500,000 gallons a day is being lost in groundwater.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
So we have about we're gonna have about 1 million left after this, which provides us some room to grow.
It's saving us half a million gallons.
Yes,
a day,
yeah.
what we're doing, which I think is huge.
It is huge, because if we weren't, we would have to be in discussions about building, expanding the water park, or the water park, the wastewater treatment plant. You have to, by state law, if you're at 70% capacity, more off, like, on average, you have to be in design. At 80%, you need to be constructing. That's why that acreage we picked up next to the treatment plant is so important. That is our area to grow. That's the only area we have. So we will be, in the near future, a couple years from now, talking about what is our next plan to expand the wastewater treatment plant. And I think the latest costs, just from reading about it, it's about $40 a gallon. So if you're adding 1 million gallons extra capacity, that's $40 million to expand the wastewater treatment plant.
Is that what we're gonna need, is 1 million?
I would say we probably need more if you're gonna expand for growth. 1.5 is what I would say. I would want to get to 5 million gallons per day to be able to handle what we're seeing with growth and also handle any of McBee's industrial park. If that company comes in and needs that, we might be in discussions closer than we think, and I want them to pay for a large portion of that. But we would do something, there's a state revolving loan that is one of the cheapest ways to do these projects. They're long-term loans at typically a very low rate, 1% or so. Cities can borrow better than anyone else. And so we would look into doing something like that. But it would be factored in to pay itself off with the increased revenues from the need of having it. So, sir.
I thought we discussed, doing some upgrades at the
That's what we're doing. So the big one is the pipe going into it, and we also have some aeration basin. There's other things factored into the improvements. We also have to have a higher level of oxygen in the water. So we're doing an increased aeration system that's actually a cascading waterfall. That's gonna it's a sewer waterfall, so it's not gonna be a tourist attraction, believe me. Not gonna be like Greenville, but we are doing that in addition to this. It's $10 million we're spending on skip improvements, but because of the increased costs, we're really only doing about half the projects we wanted to.
Okay.
Yep. So we are making improvements to buy ourselves more time with that skip money, which is awesome. So we're very happy about that.
Daniel,
Mhm.
refresh my memory on when we were having discussions about a new water tower.
Yep.
We kind of got priced out of that.
We did.
correct?
It came back at like
That's
an
part
extra
of
$1
it.
million. That was part of it. So the good news is that this was the Fifth Street tank, the aerial that's in the, not the ground tank near behind Vice. That tank is an older tank. I think it's 60 to 80 years old. All of our water that the city gets is from the ground wells at each tank. So we get it from the ground, treat it on site, pump it into the tower, and then that's what distributes it through the system. That is one of our main producers. Because of its age, it would make sense that that needs to be replaced and it's in poorer conditions than the rest. The good news is that when we started really diving into if we could continue to use it, we found it's in much better shape than it really is. So we can actually rehab that tank and keep it. The only thing we need to do is rehab the water pumps underneath. That is happening. We have pieces for it to help replace those things. So the tank is going to stay. The only thing I would like to talk about at some point with that tank is rehabbing it, fully rehabbing it. And that's about a $250,000 project down the line. Love to talk about those antennas on it at some point. They are very unattractive, and that's kind of what is, but that's where they need height. A monopole could go up nearby that's a little more attractive with the tents, but that's another $150,000. So the tank itself, though, the good news is that even though we did get priced out, it's in better shape than we thought. We can salvage it, we can use it, and then we can buy ourselves some more time to do another round of a grant once the other ones roll off.
What would the $250,000 do?
It would be repainting it, relining it. We have an opportunity to put our new logo on it, for instance. And in that maintenance, it also relines the inside of the tank to help buy more life inside of it. So they would drain it, redo the inside, and repaint the outside, and be added to our existing maintenance contract, which handles all of our other water tanks, and it be in a 10-year repair program to keep it going. So we kind of lucked out, to be honest. I mean, it seems like it's in decent shape to last another couple decades if we do it right. So, I mean, this could be our centennial tank if we, if we do it right. We were worried it was, had been, because when you do that rehabbing to it, you are sandblasting. And that does wear away the metal, and we were worried if you sandblast it one more time, you punch a hole through it. Well, that was the concern, just due to the age, but
Yeah.
when we went up to actually inspect it, it's in good shape. It's holding. So with a fresh coat of paint, that old lady will still sing, so it's all right.
So the antennas are.
I said, what now?
Nothing.
What?
I'm listening.
I wasn't touching
He
that.
said it.
What?
He said it.
It is kind of a fun saying.
It's a fun saying. Well, there's another saying, but I'm not gonna say it. Ma'am?
The, antennas you're talking about on there, is that cell tower?
It's cell towers, yeah. And we receive income from
We
those,
did.
so I don't want to get rid of them. I just would like to move them because it's a little scary up there when you're working on the tank, and you can the workers are feeling the
Right.
going through them. So there's a situation. We're having some trouble getting people to want to go up there.
And it's another situation where, where our towers were, Verizon shut down for a day,
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there's constant systems like that.
and
So
then,
issues
my
like that.
T-Mobile,
Mm-hmm.
so it worked fine, and then now they say, well, your house needs to be cat-a-corner
Right.
for you to keep a good signal.
Yeah, this is as the technology is changing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if those towers are even going to be phased out in addition. So it's 5G towers are a lot different from the 4Gs that are on that tower. They're putting them more at monopoles throughout the entire community, doing more of a web. So that's somewhat above my pay grade. All right, any questions about water and sewer? All right, let's dive into Neptune Island. So this is how this is broken down expenditure-wise. The majority of it is between temp personnel and then paying off the debt service. Staff, we have 4 full-time staff, correct? 4? 3 now. 3 full-time staff
Is that
now.
picture somewhere on our?
Yep, should be in page 106. This chart is on 106. Nope, I lied. 117. Sorry, I was in utilities still. Okay.
We consider, actually, it says 5 full-time, which I get, because we do have a water park director kind of split in there, the general manager. But this is where we do need to update and take that out, because we don't have, no, we got a guest services manager, products manager, and then that includes also marketing and events coordinator split with the tourism department. They're funded partially out of the water park as well, because they do all of our marketing and tourism for the water park.
Mhm.
So it's a full-time, but.
Chastity, you're the director?
I think I got,
She's
yeah.
controlling finance.
Controller, grants administrator, director of Neptune Island,
A little bit of everything.
a little bit. Keeps it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that chart and this sheet are as on 117, as we said.
Question, you were
All
asking a question, Bob.
So the answer, there's a question that said about losing money. So,
How much is it subsidized? I think was the question.
you want me to?
No, I'll answer it.
You go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so Bob, all those years ago when we did this, I was actually looking back through the bond recently for an S&P call. It was actually in our bond covenant, if we go back to the feasibility study, that we would fund at least $500,000 from hospitality. At least $500,000 each year. That's actually how we got them, the bondholders interested in it, is because we have it funded by hospitality and then water sewer if the water park is not able to meet the full debt requirement. So to answer your question, though, I wouldn't say loss. That's not how I view it, based off of how we designed the water park. But this year, I believe we're doing $683,000, and I'm thankful that hospitality is bringing in the money to do so for that, so that we don't subsidize with water and sewer.
We're subsidizing 600,000.
Almost 7.
From hospitality.
Absolutely.
I thought it
That's the debt coverage is 1 point.
800,000
Yep.
of debt coverage, and then it's
Yes,
A
so
little
any
bit for
portion of that that the water park doesn't make, then that would be coming from water sewer. That's right, because it's in the same
so water,
fund.
sewer subsidizing some, and hospitality subsidizing.
There you go.
Half and half, basically.
For the debt service.
For the debt service.
The operating's actually not in a poor condition. Operating expenses to revenues. Actually, I think last fiscal year was a net positive, just operating. But when you take into consideration the debt service, of course, that's subsidized by.
And I think some of the advertising too, right?
That's
No.
subsidized by grant, so.
We get a grant for
Yeah.
that.
It does what we built it to do.
It does,
Absolutely.
for 9 years straight. The only time it was a little dicey was COVID. When I first started, we were not seeing the attendance numbers because of
Yeah,
that.
we had to go to 50%.
Even though I fully encouraged people, apparently chlorine killed COVID. So if you just stayed underwater,
Fine.
you were fine. And so despite my encouragement, we had
That
to.
was a hard, that
We
was a
shut.
hard
I did
season.
close the park. We went early to weekends only. We shuttered it.
No, we just were at 50% capacity all summer to be able, for people to keep their distance from each other.
Yep.
And you had to do online check-ins to come and reserve a spot.
Yep.
And it was not fun.
Not
For the record, that was not medical advice.
Well, I figure if you weren't breathing, you were fine. So
It was, off the record, it was suggested,
That's right.
yep.
and I did wanna say one other thing. We did the work that we needed to do prior to building it. And the example I gave you was
Yep.
the Veterans, Memorial. We had to go back in there and do extensive work because there were some things not addressed. So when you talk about cold crack temperatures and all that, we had that issue.
Yeah, it's a well-run park.
All right. Any other questions? We can move on to sanitation.
Is page 137. Looks familiar. There's a tab for sanitation, if you just want to flip to that tab. But again, it's page 137.
What about stormwater?
We'll come back to that.
He
I
goes in a little bit different order
Okay.
than the book does, so we'll flip around a little bit.
mean, we can. I don't think I presented stormwater later because it's such a. It's one staff person and then some transfers in, right?
We can cover that one right quick. I mean,
Yeah, let's go
it's-
ahead and cover it.
If you want to cover stormwater really quickly, that
126.
That's right.
Most of our stormwater is owned by DOT.
Yes,
Is that correct?
and maintained by it. Yeah.
And so, what are we doing then?
So we've had, this is an older, essentially older division, right, that we've had in here for the books for some time. We've always had a staff member in there who did some work on drains around the area to help improve. Right now, the street sweeper comes directly out of this because we're able to tie it directly to improving the stormwater system by cleaning the entire gutter system. And so that comes out of this one, but we don't do any improvements to the stormwater system across. We don't have we used to have a stormwater fee that council abolished.
There you go.
So that's why that's revenue exists. So we don't have a funding source for this. This is just split between utilities.
So that could be, building this could be absorbed by another department?
It's a transfer directly out of water sewer, so it is a.
Yeah, it is another department. It's just, it's
It's
kept on the
tracked
books as we've
separately.
had it. Maybe if you ever wanted to create it, to
That's right.
recreate the fee, you could do it on this.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've got, for further, detail, we had the fee, but the fee was not being used for
That's-
actual stormwater.
That's right.
And we
Not yet.
put that money
You want to do concessions too?
someplace else and, abolish that.
Right.
And we
And that
also
was
have in
before me.
there, oh, sorry, we
No.
have in there as well, you'll see under, well, there, I just wanna make sure we talk about that we cover, I think under special projects and services, that's that 14
Oh,
is
mosquito
for
line.
mosquito. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure y'all knew that was for all the mosquito stuff that Arnold does.
Yeah, so we have a sprayer, we take care of that.
Yep.
And I will say, we have been very successful lately with grant funding to
Okay.
cover a
Shed
good
for
bit
it.
of, yeah, we got a new shed for it, and that works, so there's money in mosquito spraying. But do not run behind the truck and play behind it, as the kids do.
My entire.
It explains a lot, but, you know.
That was the coolest thing to do.
So that's what
I'm getting the
stormwater
people.
management is. It's kind of some areas that the county may, or the state may not do, so we take care of it.
Wow, did y'all think it was like water?
It's like a mist. You run behind it.
Going in the clouds, yeah, it was really cool. Everybody,
Oh,
you did.
man.
And Agent Orange was a lot of fun too. for Vietnam.
Wow, y'all.
We had dirt roads and, running behind the mosquito ball truck.
Yeah.
That was one of our
It's
routines.
entertainment in the summertime.
All right, so we're gonna follow the budget book because I don't typically get into these things. So we're gonna move on to concessions too and cover these. I don't do
What
slides
gate
on
fees
these.
do we charge? Where does that come from?
We
Basketball,
don't.
baseball?
We don't charge those gate fees, so baseball's Hartsville National. So we don't, but they don't charge gate fees either.
Okay.
We will get the gate fee from the tournament we have coming up, this one. But this one is a jamboree, so there won't be a winner on this. And it's hard for you to host your own. All the teams want their points for the rankings in the like across the nation, right? So that's why we need to be with U-Trip or with Perfect Game or Top Gun. But this one is a little unique, like I said, for Diamond Youth. So we'll make some nice money from that. And then we'll make some money for gate fees off of having Pony League there, but we will have to give a portion back to Diamond Youth Baseball. So for these, it's really only, you'll see concessions and tournament. Now, this is for like national and for when we have softball, those things out there, when we run concessions, that's what that fund is. And then any tournament sponsorship.
Do we make any money on concessions or basically break even?
It's basically break even. And I have many discussions with national folks out there, and they want us to be open even more. And I try to explain to them most volunteer-led leagues, like national, have volunteers for concessions. I said, if y'all want to come, just work for free.
Right. Northern does it.
Absolutely, it's volunteer-led. Chesterfield, volunteer-led. Jefferson, volunteer-led. So it is expensive, especially to keep up with all the cost and what the pay needs to be for employees. It's difficult. But I will say, if I can find a way to get the tournament directors to want to come here, maybe we can make a little more there on concessions.
And I think some of the interest of, things that we used to have, softball, adult teams.
We do have adult
Yeah.
softball now again. Yep, we're bringing it back.
Yep,
Yep.
they brought it back. It's doing really well.
Yep.
They just got it back.
How many we got?
Kendrick's still here, but they just put out the thing for us. I think they're having time.
I think it's-
Flag came out, I think, last Monday, I think.
Teresa, might be time. It might be time to bring it back.
Teresa, come on.
You might need to go back into it. Dust off your cleats.
No,
There was a big deal over the bats issue, but they've changed the rule. You can play with your own bats. I don't know what that was about, but y'all.
Well, that was
y'all
holding me
people are upset
back,
about it,
obviously.
but
So.
They just updated it. So,
People who, kind of, got struck out in Little League, now wanna come back in slow pitch. Use $700 bats,
Yep.
try to hit those pitches.
Yep.
All right, any other question about concessions?
How about the bet? No.
Okay, now the last, and then before sanitation, one more. And this is more just the information one because we were doing, but the Fourth and Railroad, page 136.
Who we doing fee in lieu of with? Everything?
So this is the Mountain County Business Park
Yeah.
that we're doing. But the fee in lieu, just in general fee in lieu,
Who's paying the tax? This fee in lieu instead of regular property?
this
Come
is
on.
the group, this is the Multi County Business Park, the people that use those boundaries. Is that what you're asking?
So what businesses are paying?
Oh,
We'd have to look and see. It's
Yeah, I'm
within
not
that
sure.
whole district.
I'm not sure.
It's not just straight tax, it's a fee in lieu we negotiated
No,
or rate.
no. No,
Yeah,
this
thi-
isn't fee in lieu. This is the multi-county business park with the county that we did for Fourth and Railroad.
Yep.
Fee in
The
lieu we
Canal
have with
District.
Genoto, that's over in general fund. That's not,
This says fee in lieu right here.
yeah, so.
that's just what that account is, but this is, you can consider it, this is the multi-county business park. We could get that district map for y'all. This is the 80/20.
Fee in lieu is just a negotiated property tax, basically, right?
Right.
yes.
So we're not negotiating any property
This district receives 70% of the
Yeah, it is 70.
70%. And so right now, it's been doing better. It's growing, which is good.
Yep.
And we don't include, we probably should at some point include the fund balance of this. What's
You
listed.
don't get yours starting at all. I can absolutely get
Yeah.
them the fund balance.
This
for
is
that.
what we will leverage to do to take out a bond.
Plus or minus, what is the total fund balance?
It's nearing approaching $2 million in fund balance. Yeah.
Which could be used for, water, sewer.
What we would suggest is we would take out a bond with
That's
those
right.
proceeds and then use that to make improvements
Be the
because we would need
infrastructure.
more than $2 million worth of infrastructure.
And you would use it as an economic incentive.
But this is the big one that'll help us get that project done.
But also, you're supposed to, the way it was written, keep a portion of that
It
for
has strict
future
guide,
maintenance.
yeah, it has strict guidelines. on what we
Very
use for it,
strict
yeah.
on what we can do with it. But it is nice that we do have the LGIP.
Did you check to see if we can use it?
Income.
Did you see if we could put
Yeah,
that
it's
in
in
there?
there. It's right there.
Oh, we can put it?
It's right there. 55.
Yeah,
It's in there.
Yep.
I checked with it over the day.
that's for Pete in general.
And Sunoco is listed as PILO.
That's true.
That's right.
That's right.
So we have 2 to 3 million right now sitting in the fund.
Something like that. No, not 2 to 3.
No.
1.5.
Just let her look
to-
it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Just let her look at
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Plus minus, okay, no problem. And then we would get a bond, off of that, that'd be our 20% down payment on the bond, something like that. Is that the idea?
No, we probably just take the bond payments out of that while it's generating
It
income.
pays for the bond, okay.
Yeah.
I think that should be, can we put that into our RFP?
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely do.
I would tell them economic incentives available, but
That's what we do. We would
Right.
just list that we
I
have this
think
in
that
there.
should be in there
It's, I
already.
believe it should be, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's in there, yeah.
Yeah, y'all would have it in there, the economic incentives are available. For sure.
That's a huge incentive
Yeah.
for them, yeah.
That's something that really, that's something we need to sell, maybe highlight a little better.
Well, we did highlight, I mean, people
Sure.
were very excited about that. That wasn't what was holding up the project. The lack of,
6 years ago.
no, like 3 years ago, yeah.
We were telling people what to do, you can't do that.
That's
That's the issue we had.
That was the holdup.
That was a holdup. And we needed $1 million. Is that how much is in it?
2.3.
That's what's in, is 2.3?
And to answer your question, I think before, the reason why it's increasing, because it does surround not just that canal property, but it does go outside of it, so. But I'll get to, I believe if you look at I think I sent you the multi-county business agreement, it should have a map in there. If not, I'll send it out to you guys. So let's see. Okay. All right, next up is sanitation. All right, so this is my favorite chart because it shows how the revenue is broken down for sanitation. Oh, no, not this. Next chart. So this is just showing the budget. Any of those big increases, that's when we do capital. So those are garbage trucks being purchased. This year, again, we're purchasing a $425,000 truck, but we have capital lease proceeds to split that over a longer period of time to pay back. But sanitation has been growing. We have done in the past, we're doing a dollar increase, right? Council voted for a 3-year dollar increase.
This is the last year.
The
I think,
last year of
each.
that, but we probably will talk about that again as we go. We
Absolutely.
still are cheaper than private haulers, even with that. And we service all residential in the city limits, and we are competing for commercial with other companies because we don't have that by resolution, by ordinance. But by ordinance, we can only service residential.
We're the sole provider for residential.
And technically, we could do the same thing with commercial.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it, but there's pluses and minuses to doing that. Commercial can be a very good business if you do it right. So I'm used to sanitation being a little more lucrative than what we have now. The way we're doing it now, we're doing enough to keep by.
And,
So.
Also then, the, apartment complexes.
Yes, ma'am?
All of those are serviced by private, providers except for East Park and South.
I believe
Park.
the
Yeah.
Housing Authority is partners with us.
Right.
And we have taken commercial businesses from like the bigger ones. We provide, in my opinion, a better service, and we actually typically are cheaper, but a lot of these chains have national
right.
contracts with like Republics and things like that, and so
Who pursues those contracts?
our manager does. Yeah,
Who's the manager?
his name's Brad,
Brad?
and we're actively pursuing those contracts. No, we don't put names in the
No,
thing
but
because
Brad
it's
is-
position. The sanitation manager, who is Brad, handles that for us, and Matt to a certain extent.
Right.
Okay. So this is the sanitation, how the funding is broken down, commercial and residential. So that's where the funding comes from. This is the charges for doing each of the services. And these flip-flop back and forth each year. Some years, commercial's a little higher, residential a little lower. We're seeing more residential units coming online, so those are more residential income. And this is page what, Chastity? 138. No, I think I'm into 140 on this one, right?
You're looking for that specific.
This page, yeah,
Oh,
140.
Yeah, sorry, 140.
This is expenditures now. So we're purchasing, again, it's being bumped up quite a bit because we're purchasing a truck, which is listed.
So it costs us 2.3 million for this department, and then how much are we generating? What's that revenue?
Yep, it's over
Yep.
here. We're generating,
1.8,
So
and then
you're
you have
losing
other.
about 500,000.
no,
No.
we're generating 2.27 and we're expenditures this year is 2.23. So we have a $40,000 difference. Yeah. But that's, I mean, that's, in some years before we were starting to do the dollar increases, that was, we were in the
Very-
negative.
Quite negative.
Basically break even a little bit less.
That's right.
That's why it was so important we had to make a change for the yard waste. It was consuming too much time. We were losing.
That's really been a burn people's saddle, the brown cans, but I don't know a good answer.
There isn't one. That solution is the thing to keep the program going. We spent a year and a half doing it to find out if we could do something different, and we can't. And I'll be quite honest, every city I've run, this is how they do it. And that's how you have successful programs. You cannot just loose leaf pick up things. It doesn't work.
We still have the claw, though. When do we use that?
We use it to pick, we still, so,
Yard debris.
we still pick up yard debris. If you put out anything that's loose, so your leaves go into the brown can, or they're bagged, which we still pay for bags too. And you get them for free, and people do get them from Leesburg. If you have limbs that go out, though, they're 4 feet in length, because you're not putting out giant tree trunks, we'll pick that up at the knuckle boom every other week. So we're still offering top-notch service that cities do not typically offer.
And,
You just have to help us bag it. That's really it.
And if you have a landscaping
They
crew,
can bag it for you.
but you're not supposed to actually do it,
If
but we
it's
do.
if you have a yard person, then you can have them do it. If you have a kid who comes and does your yard, you can put it out. But if you have a landscape crew that comes through, they need to haul it.
Our ordinance, they're supposed to haul it.
Yeah.
But we will still pick that up, but even though, I know the rag backs by, but by ordinance, they're supposed to remove it themselves.
This should have been changed years ago.
But now, you're not interested in changing our service,
No, I'm maintaining the service we have
but
now.
we just cut it back once every other week.
Oh, no, we're not
Couple years
changing
ago.
anything.
No, nothing's
Ma'am.
changing. No,
Nothing's
service is
changing
still, we haven't made any changes since when we made the big change to yard waste.
Gotcha.
Still offering
Oh,
the same
no.
service. Recycling is every other week as it is. And then the bulk pickup is that same time.
Yeah, and I think we cut that cost out to help the bulk
did.
pickup.
yeah,
We
Bulk-
cut that
the bulk
cost out
pickup
for
with the
bulk
knuckle.
pickup.
Yep.
You don't have to
Our
pay for that.
recycling actually
No.
get recycled.
Yes, we take it to
We
Sunoco.
sell it,
Mhm.
all right, we make money on the
Sell it.
recycling.
Oh, no.
We pay Sunoco to take it from
Yes,
us.
we paid them
Yes.
to take it from us. Years ago, when I first started, we made money off of it, but they did away with that. Remember that meeting, they said, no more, you're actually gonna.
So
pay
we
us."
take it, we sell it to Sunoco, who does recycle it, yes.
So we pay Sunoco to take it, and they turn around and take, and get
Makes
money
money
for
on
it.
it.
So they're
Yeah.
winning.
No, they're not losing money.
I think
Granted,
it
it's
sounds like
not a lot of
it sounds like it works out great for everyone, right?
Yeah.
No, it's recycling. I was running a recycling plant when that change happened, and it was you saw the death knell for recycling plants across the country. It's just not profitable anymore. That's why it's scaled so far back. The only thing that's really profitable was single source recycling. So like a company like Walmart who has a bin that's for cardboard, they can ensure their employers are only putting cardboard in, and then they sell that for a profit. Or to help net loss, to help offset the costs already, but you cannot recycle and make money anymore. Although, if the price of oil keeps going up, you might see a resurgence of some plastics coming back out. But
You and I spoke at a lunch not too awful
Mhm.
long ago about, there was a company in Florence or
Mhm.
surrounding area, recycle, that they would go to local cities
Mhm.
and pick them up if that's where our contract was, at no cost to the city.
So
Are we ever close enough to?
well, we talked a lot about that. I mean,
Yes.
when we were talking about the yard waste switch, one of the solutions that we had was to get rid of recycling, because that is a truck that has to be dedicated for it to help offset some of the costs for yard waste. And then customers would just sign up for recycling, and then they pay them. Right now, we don't charge for recycling, and we still do it for anyone who wants a can. They recycle. But our recycling numbers are down. People do not recycle as they used to, and we are still paying for it. So it's a service we've just continued to offer because we've always have. But if council's interested, we certainly have a plan if we wanted to drop off recycling. Not a
It doesn't
problem.
matter to us who picks it up, whether it be the city or.
Well, it would matter, I guess it mattered to
outsource
the
it or-
residents because they would have to pay for it unless we paid for it.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't be saving anything. So,
Yeah, and you have, a dump all over the place.
Yeah.
Because we do pick up the bulk or brown goods.
Yep.
For free.
Yep.
The only problem is people don't understand or proclaim they don't understand what brown goods are. So landlords put out,
Couches.
no, they put out refrigerators and stoves for brown goods. So with codes enforcement, we get ready to get strict, and you're not gonna be able to do that. Kick a fine.
I see our tipping fees, 200,000. How often do we negotiate that? And what
Very.
leverage do we have?
so that is set by
We go further just to try to get a savings, that's set by the county.
so it's set by the county, they set their
They
own.
could care less
And
if
we
we
also
top.
take it to Lee Bishopville and also
Florence if we have to,
Florence
but
if we have to.
we do Bishopville the most just because it's so much cheaper than the Darlington.
Cheap enough, even though it's further.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so much cheaper. When they opened back up, their prices
They doubled their
doubled.
commercial.
So it's a little more wear and tear for us, and it's a little bit more, fuel wise, but it's not even.
And that's
close to what they were
commercial only,
charging us.
residential is
Yes,
free tipping.
so residential still goes to Darlington County, but all commercial goes.
Our taxes pay for
Our
that.
taxes pay for that.
The citizens' taxes pay for
That's right.
residential, so we don't pay for that. This is
All right,
commercial.
so we talked about adding, trying to get more commercial accounts. Is it worth it to get more commercial accounts?
That's where they talked about the balance of it. I'd
Yeah,
like to maintain.
we'd have to
maybe go up,
maintain our
but you're
rates.
right, like, we would have to look and see.
Increase rates potentially, or, just increasing. It's a scaling situation.
That's right.
Because right now, our fees stand at $90.
When it depends what they would want, or with businesses, we offer how many days a week pick up, like what would that person be interested in?
Yeah, what they
But
need. Yeah.
That's right.
Do we do grease traps too?
No, we don't do grease traps, but
That's not
that's-
anybody in the city.
No, but we do watch them
Yes,
because that affects when there's businesses, of course, we don't have any businesses doing this, dump it down the sewer. That's a problem. So we actually do inspect grease traps just to stay ahead of who we know
that's
is
water sewer,
problematic.
right,
It's in water and sewer, yeah, not in here. Yeah. Okay. All righty. Let's move on to, I believe, H-Tax.
That's page 146.
Yep. All right, so hospitality, and I combined these two just to talk about, they are similar goals, but different things. This is the budget for each one of them. We are seeing a slight increase in hospitality. We are noticing a decrease though, and this is from the state, correct? The 100,
Not this one.
this is
It's
local, so we're noticing a decrease in local
Might be
accommodations.
this- It'd be the same thing though. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's across the board. we're
people
seeing.
not staying as much.
Yeah, we're noticing, like I said, we're noticing slowdown in spending. So hospitality still is doing well, though. That is the strength of the town, that you can judge it by hospitality. And so we're doing pretty well. So So we're excited about it.
How close is the 1,354,500 to what we actually get?
Yeah, what do we, I don't have the actuals in front of me. She pulled it up.
It should be fairly close, because we wouldn't have increased it.
How much is this increase from just inflation versus more people coming to town?
It's gonna be a mix of both, I'd say. I mean, if you calculate out inflation is 3% this year,
Right.
we'd have to check to see what that is.
Seems like with the economy tightening up, you have more people we could promote to like staycation, local. Instead of a long trip, no flying.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Michelle is working on, are you still working on that one?
Yeah, we're working on a stay and play package with, the hotels and Mexican Island. And hopefully we could get them to come in maybe like on a Thursday evening and have like Friday, maybe downtown, and then have Saturday at Mexican Island. So they can take full advantage of everything we have.
Sure, your dates.
Yeah, and that, I think, having them have breakfast at a different place, lunch at a different place, and dinner at a different place, so they can get the whole feel of our town.
Fiscal year ending 2025, we received 1.288 in hospitality revenue. Of course, I think we're ahead of where we were last fiscal year and our current fiscal year, but we won't know those final numbers until for the current fiscal year.
Any questions? All right, the last section we just have is the information on our debt service. We've talked about that a little bit, how we're pulling in more, but you can go through and check out any of the debt service schedules. Appendix A, 152. And so we do have some stuff rolling off, but that's mostly capital lease. The big one is, don't we have one, a bigger one coming, was that the capital lease, the 120, the $127,000? It's capital lease then. Yep.
So we got two big ones coming up in 27. And what are our plans? Basically, we never get rid of debt. We just add another thing. So what's our big debt that we're looking at in 27?
It would be the one that's coming on here. It would depend what rates we get, right? So we would have our capital lease for this year. That would, without payment, that was gonna be the next thing you see. The capital lease at the beginning of the book, right? That's gonna be your next one that would roll on, right?
Is that, how much is that? Was that, we got,
The capital lease up front, the one we talked about, right? That's gonna be our debt that we're gonna take on.
so you got,
The general fund was
650.
651.
I'm talking about the payment. So
495.
it's, we've got 260,000 rolling off per year in debt payment. Is that gonna be absorbed by what you're talking about?
Yes,
In
I'm gonna
part,
get you that
yeah,
total,
in
right?
part, yeah.
So if you look at all the capital lease passage, which is 8, 9, and 10, 8, and 9, this is the part 2 that's interesting. While the end of this is the total, right, it's important to make sure you're referring to it by fund. The total this year across all funds is 1.586, and that was on pages 8 and 9 that shows you what's the capital lease by each fund. So that first page, 651.
So we have been, the last few years, taking on less capital in anticipation of trying to create more space for us when we're talking about planning for the future. So when we see we're taking less debt on so that we can help offset the rising costs and not take as much on. So we will have less debt payments, but that's gonna need to be rolled into operating expenses.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So we're not using all of these debt payments for new debt. We're using it's freeing up some money.
That's right.
We've been doing that the last 2.5, 3 years, is doing less capital
Really trying
leases to
do
start.
less.
Because this is our
They will
job.
come
We,
off in 2029, $500,000.
that's because we haven't taken on the debt we've taken on quite a lesser debt last 2 years, 3 years rather, to then anticipation of rising costs. That's what we try to forecast is when we're looking at these things and how much we're taking out. So we're preparing for this last 3 years.
So we just talked about having a bond for, water and sewer or whatever else we need for the railroad.
That has a dedicated funding source
So
though.
it's a wash for that one.
Well,
That's right.
we'll take out what
It
we
wouldn't
can.
be
300,000 would pay for it, that's right.
That's right.
And the hope is that as you add more to it, it goes up. And so you are continuing to expand that and increase revenues. Because once Fourth and Railroad is developed, that number should jump drastically. Because right now it's with 10 acres undeveloped.
Yeah, we're talking about, I'm anticipating 80 units apartment building, hoping, which is a $24 million project and 300,000 per door. So 24 million will generate a lot of property taxes.
It will.
What's square footage?
Eight to 900 probably. 1 and 2
Fourth
bedroom
and
units.
The plan would be to do, so we've met with a couple different groups, and the overall plan to be developed would be to continuation of downtown, and then just trying to figure out a way to add some multifamily and then single family, and that's what makes sense.
Coker, add multifamily, single family on 4.
And that's going back to kind of the original thoughts that was when it was presented to Byerly to borrow the $2 million. So that's, right now, we do have the full phase 1. We're working through that right now.
You did get it?
We did get it, so we're
Okay.
going through that right now, and our
That's good.
consultants, sure, the consultants are reviewing that. We'll figure out what our
We
next,
got our guys looking at that.
our guys are
ours.
looking at that, yeah. Who I wanted to look at to begin with, but we'll see. But the next steps are be to put out the RFP and go from there. Let's see what we got.
And when's Lincoln Village better come on board?
I
They are
know.
starting.
Orchard Commons.
Orchard Commons is built. Go ahead,
She has
Sarah.
it. Go ahead.
Bill on the phone a little bit ago,
Can't wait.
and they're looking at closing at the bank at the beginning of June, and they have to start in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
They've already submitted their plans here and
Yeah,
we've been
they're
working through it.
waiting on DOT is the slowdown, so that's why they're calling, see if we can help with
How many
DOT.
units?
60?
Four?
60 units.
'Cause
60
we
units.
voted this week, they went to planning commission last week, was it? And they approved the naming of the streets. Now they're waiting on the county to give them the numbers. So
It's
the
in
wheels in
process.
motion.
It's definitely happening.
And Thornwell,
yeah.
we met with Thornwell this past Wednesday,
Okay.
last week, and they have secured the loan, secured the property behind for parking. 58 apartments are going in,
Plus how many houses?
plus 21 houses, phase 2.
So that's 70, 80 units.
Yep.
So 24% and 58, 6%. Is that right?
Yeah, about that.
And 66% with the Orchard Commons.
We're gonna have a record year in housing being added.
Then Powerline, is that?
Powerline is 58 homes under discussions right now. We're reviewing the plans now. And they're all different size homes. So that's 58, 58, two 58s, 58, 58, and 60. Plus 8 homes behind Oakdale.
Couple hundred units is what we're looking at, plus or minus.
We're looking at doing what we've done the last 5 years in about 1.5.
So we're talking about we need growth. Growth is coming. I'm really excited about that. Thank you, and thank you for getting the codes cleaned up. One of the first conversations I had about growing on Fourth and Railroad, the architect group I was talking to said, your codes are really antiquated. We're probably not interested. And I said, let me show you what we're doing. And
That's a long time coming.
they turned over quickly.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited about that. We're super tight on our budget. We don't have enough money to fund our needs. We're having to sell property and trees to fund it,
Yep.
which is frightening, frankly.
Well, I was gonna sell it either way,
Well,
right?
I
I
know,
could have
but-
found other.
I know, but
We
I'm
can
just
increase
saying,
taxes.
we're not raising taxes. We gotta grow. We can grow first, and then we'll talk about that. But I understand that isn't a way to do it, but we are growing, is what I'm trying to say, and I'm so excited about that. So, thank you for what y'all done to make that happen.
Well, you should have seen us when we were on life support. What was that?
This is very good.
Five,
You need to
6
look where
years
we,
ago.
We're in a lot better position than we were 4 or
we
5
didn't
years
even
ago.
have 1 month sitting in general fund when I got here, so.
Lot better position.
So
It's
even
been over $1
providing
million.
Services, we ought to come out on top with property taxes, water, blah, blah,
Agreed.
blah.
We hope so. yeah.
With that amount of growth, yes, I think so.
With that size coming on board. I mean,
Agreed.
the numbers coming on board.
But at the same time, we're going to have to balance it out with some personnel to cover fire
That's
and police and sanitation. So, it's a balance.
It's gonna be a balance, and that's where that
Gosh,
I'm
how
just
long
glad
has
they-
it been? I mean, we haven't done it since I've been here. I've been here 9 years, probably 15.
They keep
I
kicking, they
remember
keep
the one
kicking the
in
can down the road,
2014.
and the best time to discuss it is a non-election year.
Right.
Something we didn't talk about within the
Agreed.
budget, we do have a $38,000 contingency on here, so there is some extra money in there that we're seeing. A lot of the festivities for this year are already paid for. They're going to be paid for in this, not already paid for, be paid for in this budget cycle, so we're not as worried about it. But you do have some flexibility if you guys see something that has come up. We have the 38,000 contingency on the plan. So like I said, we don't really need, like, that's the trees sales. That's we're just throwing that on as contingency. But no, I mean, in some cities nearby, for instance, utilize fund balance to offset their debt. We have not had to do that.
That's right.
In our
Very
fund,
healthy, when you look at our bond, numbers, we're very healthy there.
yeah,
It's really nice.
the general fund is in better shape than the utility fund, which is why we're having to do the 9%. But we really, you know, so Karen and her team worked with our a group called Raftillis, who's a bond, you know, our rate study, and this is what they came up with to help right this ship. It's just the increased costs are outpacing the growth or the amount of revenues we're generating, so we have to do something.
We talk about 9% increase, that's kind of across the board. Have we figured out what we're doing with our commercial accounts?
Yeah, you mean the
Industrial
pretreatment?
accounts?
Yes, so I mean, that's gonna be part of it.
That's not this part,
That's
though.
not this part, though. This is residential customers.
We need to make sure we do that the right way, so I didn't even build that additional revenue
So that's
in.
not reflected.
That's
That's
gonna
nowhere in
be
it.
icing on.
It was gonna be too quick, and I wanna make sure we roll it out the right way. And so I said, let's build our budget without it, to make sure we do that the right way and prepare our industrial customers.
One y'all had a statistic, a couple months ago about our industrial is creating X amount of waste, but our residential's paying a much higher
That's right,
percentage of
they're
that.
They are.
subsidizing it.
They're subsidizing.
How much are they subsidizing?
So, for
I'd have
instance,
to
Do you
look
the
back
amount,
remember talking about that?
we do, and I don't want to get into too specific of numbers, but for instance, right now, industrial ratepayers are only paying like a few thousand a year for a permit, for discharge. It should be 6 figures per, okay? So we're talking
It's
serious.
gross disparity there.
It's a small difference. We need to get this right though, because that cost is being borne by the residents. We're paying for it.
Yes, 9%.
But I will say, when we implement IPP the right way, US Water, our contract service, they will be providing a service as well. So there won't be a complete,
We have to pay them
all
for it. Yeah.
additional revenue. We're having to make sure we have the right program in place as well. We're improving it. So when we present that to y'all, it's gonna be a full analysis. I didn't wanna jump the gun on that.
It's
But
gonna
I
be a
think the
yeah.
9% was gonna be either way. What I would hope though in the future is it's gonna slow down those increases.
So what does that look like to my water and sewer bill? So can you translate that?
Yeah, I mean, is Brandon still here? It's gonna be so I'm trying to think of what the cost per
Yeah.
gallon is.
We definitely need to
We'll pull it
have
up.
that, because my mother is going, what? Vote for what?
So when we
Give
present
them
it
the
next
rates.
week.
Everybody's mama's gonna be saying that.
Well, it's
when
like
we-
$28 a gallon is what I'm trying to remember. what
Increase?
the- I'm trying to,
No.
I'm trying to total. So
Okay.
get the rate, and then, because we post the rates, and that's gonna be a 6% increase. It's 9% increase from there.
Yeah, so when we present it next week as well, your fee rate is gonna be broken down. It'll be a complete chart like we always provide, and we're gonna have that broken out for y'all. And we're going to have slides as well that we're gonna present for this from the rate study, our final results on it as well.
And whenever you do like these rate increases and taxes, so it is a small increase per person, but it's over the entire city is what we get it. So for instance, a 5 mil increase for the city of Hartsville is $108,000 extra for us. To the resident with like a $75,000 value home, it's about a
Assessment
$10
value,
assessment
right.
value. It's about a $10 increase per year.
For 75,000.
Roughly. So like a 200,000 is $20 is what we kind of calculate out to be at 4%. So, and that's per year. So you can divide that by month. So it's less than $1 or a little bit over $1 a month increase per the resident. But overall is where we make the money. But again, our mill isn't worth not that much. So the same thing's going on with utilities, but we'll have a breakdown for you, so you can tell a resident what their bill will look like now going up because of it.
And we got a colored graph in the bill now.
We do. We're working through the color graphs. For some reason, it's not trans. I think we took them off for this last one because we're having trouble that they're not. There's some errors popping up on some of the samples we're doing. So we've taken those off right now, but we will have a color graph coming up as soon as we get it fixed.
Have we looked at the colored graph being the only way for a resident to understand that?
As far as only including the color graphs,
How
that
else
we
can
do?
we explain it?
Yeah. Well, why don't we talk about it? If there's some ideas you want to see, or if you see a problem, let's talk about it.
I know Brandon would be glad to discuss.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brandon would be the better person to talk
So
to. It.
do we have a system where we have, ACH transactions for your water
Yes.
bill and
Mhm.
everything? Do we have that in place?
We do.
do.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't have to send out paper?
No, you can go
We've
paperless
had
for the
that
whole
a long
thing.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you can add your bank, your routing number, your bank
Yeah.
account number, and get it
Well,
added. You can pay that way.
I pay that way, but I still get a paper bill.
Hey, if you wanna sign up for paperless, we have that option too. Brandon can walk you through the steps. You can
Just
sign
through
up
Gov.
for paperless billing.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
The ladies over there probably could help you as well. Alicia probably could.
Yeah.
Um,
We'd
walk
love for you to
through
go
that.
paperless.
I
Saves
would
us money.
Love it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people that are going to just paperless, electronic only.
Yeah, and see, I didn't know that was available
Mm-hmm.
in the color graph. No, she want me spending ink on that. But, you can just, like, if we have a, ACH transaction,
Mm-hmm.
then let people know about going paper, give a reminder again.
Okay. Yep. Absolutely.
Well,
We done?
that we already discussed all the other funds.
Yep.
That's the budget.
All right. Hearing no objections,
Yep, so
we stand
just
adjourned.
one thing, so this is gonna come for vote then, next week. We're gonna do first reading of that. Then we have to do a second reading in June to have it adopted by
Next
June.
week's first reading.
Next week's the first reading, then we'll do a public hearing of the budget on the June meeting, and it needs to be adopted by June 30. So that's the plan. Right now, you guys have a balanced budget without any tax increases, only a utilities major increase, minor
Minor.
increase.
Right.
But we'll have a breakdown for all you guys to see how it would impact. It's gonna be not as high as you guys think. That's it.